The CMD of Nalco now joins us on the show. In fact, I think it's his very first interview on television with ET now since he's taken the post of CMD of Nalco. So, Mr. Patra, welcome and thank you so much for joining us. I hope you and your team at Nalco are healthy and safe amid this time of pandemic. So lots to talk about when it comes to Nalco. I particularly, of course, am interested in talking about the Utkal-D mine. But first and foremost, I just want to talk about how Nalco is coping with the pandemic. Sir, what's the capacity, the production capacity you're operating at currently?
Madam, good afternoon. First, the priority and the important is the safety of my manpower, my people. This pandemic has affected across the globe, so Nalco is not an exception. Since it is a continuous production process, the state government and the government of India has permitted to carry on operation. And despite of all bottlenecks, logistic issue is there, and critical raw material availability crisis is there, and the district administration does not allow to engage full manpower. They allow maximum 20-25% manpower to be deployed even though continuous production. So through deployment of the equipments with the less manpower, we are making our sincere effort to keep the plant live, because once we shut down the plant, the restarting will be a cost concern and it will be time taking. So assuming this pandemic effect as a temporary phenomenon, we have been taking sincere effort to operate the plant. Mines is operating around 60-65% capacity. And since it is a continuous process, the capacity utilization is around 60-65% in all the plants.
Right. Can you talk to us about the inventory post the lockdown? What's happening over there in terms of demand? What is the sense that you get?
You see, basically the intention of the company formation is to supply the primary metal to the domestic industry here. Because earlier the people were importing primary metal, so the company was formed with the intention to provide primary metal to our domestic industry for national contribution. So due to this pandemic, the production process of almost all the buyers and customers have been discontinued and stopped. Material lifting from March 21st till 15th April, there is no lifting of material by any of the customers, because MSME, small entrepreneurs who regularly do not want to pile their inventory. So once the production is halted, the demand from those domestic customers has reduced, and we have various mechanisms in force for selling to our domestic customers. So anyhow, again, some material lifting has started since 15th of April onwards, but it is not full-fledged. And normal inventory, finished stock of metal, we maintain around 5,000 to 7,000. It has accumulated up to 35,000 tons. So naturally, once the production will take place and the lifting will be restricted, and transportation to stockyard or warehouse is also having some logistic issues. So now we are trying to regain, and we are expecting that definitely this temporary phase will cross over.
All right. Okay, great. Mr. Patra, of course, I must also ask you about the Utkal-D mine, whose mining lease you have recently received from the Odisha state government. It's a big one for you. That mine is big as well. So tell us a bit about it. I mean, you know, because of the lockdown, how soon will you be able to kickstart coal mining? To what extent is now your coal requirement completely captive? Because I know you had some problems in the previous quarter when it came to procurement of coal, because of which there was some issue. And also, of course, how much will your COP reduce now?
Basically, aluminium is power intensive, and in the country, more or less, almost all industry are depending upon the thermal power. So for that, we have our linkage and bridge linkage were granted, and differential quantum around 14 to 15 lakhs tons we were raising through e-auction. Now at this juncture, coal supply assurance is an important aspect, and Utkal-D and E, the company, was struggling to make it operationalized to complete all its procedural requirements, statutory requirements. We are grateful to the state government and the central government both. They allotted us both Utkal-D and E, and state government granted order granting lease on 16th April, and we are hopeful it is a milestone, and efforts are being made to make the mines operational, complying all statutory requirements at the shortest possible time. And we are putting our effort to make in this financial year, at least to make the mines operational, so that a fuel linkage will be assured, and it will also facilitate to increase the profitability, because my raising cost versus the coal what I procure from Coal India Limited and their subsidiaries, the difference can add it to my bottom line. So we are keen, and we will put accelerated efforts for making the plant and mines operational during this financial year 2021.
All right, great. Mr. Patra, thank you so much for joining us today.